Good evening, welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Adam Ross and Clinton Geoffrey here on Tuesday nights, as we normally are last week and the week before, Wednesday, and then we weren't on, but we're back. Thanks to all our buds that choose to come and hang out with us. I'm at home in the office as usual. Adam is checking out some oceanfront property in Arizona, right? Isn't that how the George Strait
Yeah,
thing went?
that's right. Exactly. That's exactly the song. Yeah, I was in Arizona yesterday. I'm back in Vegas today, and we have Cal Tire work function starting tonight and going until Friday. So I'm at the Park MGM Hotel with a beautiful view of a couple of roof ventilation systems.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes. But hey, we got some guests coming on. You and I are going to talk about it. As the rundown says, this is a wave round. Get caught up. Anything you want us to talk about, feel free to throw it out there. We'll be happy to get at you with our opinions on it, if that means anything to you. We're going to start with our opinions, though, tonight, Adam. Let's jump into our buddy Derek Lynch. We had him on the show a month or two ago, and we talked about his points that he made for all short track racing. I don't know, probably I'd have to look back and see how many there were a lot of them. We picked the first two tonight to discuss and get the fans and viewers and your opinion on it. So show the two screenshots, Spencer. This is from a bit of an essay that Derek posted back in 2018. It still holds true 5 years later. In 2023, every racer should thank their race owner, promoter, every week for giving them a place to race. I promoted what I think would consider a successful, well-run program for 9 years, and I can honestly tell you there's no money to be made. Just enough to get it open again the next week. Track owners today are like racers. The track is their hobby. Trust me, they're making a living somewhere else. So take that down, Spencer. We'll talk about that, and then we'll go back to point number 2. What's your thoughts on that, Adam?
I understand you're doing it in numerical order, but really, the number one point you took was the racer should thank their track promoter.
I didn't mean it that way. I grabbed the
No, I
first two
get
off the list. And simply, that's because they were all good, and I didn't think we should pick and sort. But yeah, it is kind of ironic throwing that back at me. You should have introduced that.
Yeah, it might, maybe so. But point taken. There's not many people who have gotten rich in motorsports. There's a lot of people who've become wealthy in areas outside of motorsports and chosen to spend that money in motorsports. Glenn Stiers is a great example of that. Um, so, to that effect, yeah, be kind to the people at the racetrack. Be kind to the people that you're going to spend your weekends with because they're not getting rich. There's other things they could be doing, Clinton, just like there's other things you could be doing, I could be doing. We're all there because we want to be there. We're all there because we share something in common. And if one day people were to ever open their financials, we would probably all be shocked to see that none of us are living large.
No, and if you do have a win once in a while, go up 10 grand. Believe me, that's sucked away the 2 weeks prior and the 3 weeks after really fast. So just that's one interesting point. Let's go to point number 2 from Derek's list, and I guess we're going to have to keep them numerical as we get through it. But number 2, we only pulled 2 for tonight. There's so many good ones, though. Short track asphalt racing, both weekly and touring, will continue to struggle until the rules for each division are uniform across the country. He says, I'm not a dirt racer, but what he can see, can take a dirt late model or modified and run it in Ontario, Florida, Vermont, Iowa, maybe change shocks and motor, but the basic car is the same. Teams can't take a pavement car even 2 hours up the road and run it 98% of the country. That's silliness. Now, I think that's changed a lot since 2018. Maybe not a lot, but a fair bit. There definitely has been strides here in Ontario to make that happen on the pavement side of things.
And there's been strides to blow that up on the dirt side.
Yep.
Promoters taking basic dirt modified rule packages and bastardizing them, and it really doesn't make an awful lot of sense. And I can get. So the point Derek makes is absolutely true. A lot of Ontario dirt tracks dropped their dirt car sanctioning. What I don't understand was that doesn't mean you have to go away from the rules package because it still makes sense. There are certain things you could go away from, like some of the requirements of the engine rebuilds and things like that. But it's
The biggest thing you're
short-sighted.
going to see, the biggest thing you're going to see in that situation, it tends to be tires and fuel, right? So one is VP with Hoosier, the other one will be Sunoco with American Racers. I mean, my buddies, they went down the States. T-Mac rode down with, I think it was JMF there a week ago. They went to Outlaw. Well, Outlaw has them both. They have dirt sportsman races, but they have Hoosier races and American Racer. So they brought the car down. They entered both divisions. Same car, just change the tires, change fuel, I guess. I don't even think they're checking fuel, but tires was the big thing. But yeah, it's an interesting point. That's all we got. All right.
It really is. It's a great point. The reason, so to explain to people, the reason there would be rule variations is traditionally track promoters tried to force racers to race their track and not go elsewhere by making a big rule difference. Like, it might not seem like a big deal, but by doing things that just didn't match up with other tracks in the vicinity, and that's how that they sort of kept drivers on their terms at their track. Well, tradition has shown us, history has shown us, that if you have uniform rules, put on a good show, you can draw a lot of race cars. And there's dirt race after dirt race over the last 30 years that are proof of that.
I'm just sending a link to Aaron Turkey, so we'll see if he can get to it.
So what did you think? I don't know if you have it on the rundown. What did you think of trucks racing in the rain?
Yeah, it's not on there. I like it. I mean, Rob's going that route. On the short tracks, from a promoter standpoint, I just can't see the fans sitting out there in the rain. You know what I mean? But I guess it lets you get the show going earlier than when you're not. If I had one beef with the trucks, I think I agree with what Stuart Friesen said post-racing with the interviews I saw. Instead of a competition caution to make us all change them or all keep them on, let's play a bit of strategy. Let us keep them on if we want or change them when we want. And that was the only thing I had that I think maybe could have made it a bit more interesting.
There was a lot of little things in that race, delays, but because it was the first time it had been done, I'm sure there was a lot going on in the background to make sure that they got it right. By and large, you wouldn't do this at weekly racetracks because weekly racetracks in general are not contractually obligated to put on shows. There's not big dollars on the line for TV deals and hundreds of thousands of dollars wasted when people have to spend an extra day at a racetrack. So it's not for everybody, but it makes sense to me why they would want to try to get it going.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. We're going to get back to, this trend of burning the tires down and catching the cars on fire. We are going to talk about that. That's a bit later on in the rundown. We do have some video of that, I believe, as well. But, yeah, I think, you're right. It's definitely a bit of an insurance policy to make sure the race, or at least a better shot of getting the races in. And you and I lived through that. I mean, Newfoundland, we were all out of town, way across country. Everybody had to stay an extra day. Everybody's scrounging for flights. And that's on a smaller level than even the trucks are. So you can imagine how crazy things are there.
Mm-hmm.
I just sent the link to Aaron Turkey, so we'll see if he can join us. Hopefully getting him on to talk about. He just got his car all lighted up by Steve Lyons today. I saw it was ready to go. They were practicing the new GSR chassis on Saturday, and Aaron is ready to race with the SOS this coming Saturday night at Miracle. So a lot of tie-ins to this week with Aaron.
Well, and to that point, Clint, you and I were talking about the 360 division and the crate division at Ashwegan this year. It is absolutely insane how much talent there is in the 360 class that was already there. And then you add in some of the new blood that's moving up. That's going to be a crazy division this year.
Yeah, I think a good creative piece we need to make with G-Force and Ashwegan is just a silly season whiteboard where we show everything moving around, because silly season Ashwegan has been something like I've never seen before. Started mid-season with the Turners and Ryan moving away from Burger Barn. From there, things just got crazier. Lots of stuff in the off season. A ton of rookies moving up. But the biggest thing I guess the B side to that, Adam, is you've been writing some releases for us that are going to come out next week to start pumping things up. Crate title is going to be open. All the big stars who moved up out of the crates, so to speak, all the major contenders on paper, you'd think. So that's the good question. The high odds are who's going to win the crate championship this season.
For sure. And if you look back over the 7 years of crate championships, 5 of those 7 drivers are full-time have moved on to be full-time 360 racers. That's pretty impressive.
The concern was with the 360s when we first brought in the crates was that Glenn would drop the 360s because it's infinitely cheaper to run crates weekly and just have the 360s as maybe, the ESS Tour, the Southern Ontario Sprint. But, it's really helped buoy the 360s. I mean, John Brush from Corpac, who is the original supporter of the 360s, who put up Point Fund for the first 10 years, he was really worried that it was going to screw up what they had built. But he's the first one to tell you he's super proud of how strong it's gotten him. The number was that we touted was 8 of the top 12 in points at Oshweekend at the end of 2019 came directly out of our crates and micro sprint program, which is showing you the ladder system works. So that's super exciting. Let's talk about Oshweekend a little bit here. So first off, we have our VIP package. Show that one if you can, Spencer. Not the Super Pass yet. VIP tickets are coming available. We'll have 2 nights of VIP action available for $95 per person. Includes some beverages before the races, dinner, and entertainment each night, starting at 5 o'clock prior to the 7 p.m. start, 7:30 start, for the Pinty series and the sprint cars. It's going to be an awesome night. Last year, we had some great entertainment in the tents, and make sure you check it out. That is a lot of corporate folks are asking for that. We've probably sold about 200 for each night already, which is amazing to get that going. The other thing, Adam, that we're super proud of, so tickets for all major events at Oshweekend are going to go on sale at noon this Saturday. If you're a returning ticket holder and you want your seats, contact Mary via email. If you haven't already heard from her, I'm told she's been reaching out to everybody this week. So, Saturday at noon, we're going to launch this new package, Adam. Super proud to announce our Saturday announcement, and that is our Summer Super Pass Super Ticket. Throw it up, Spencer. 5 days of racing, including pit access, all 5 nights for the Super NASCAR week. So our Speed Week Super Pass is going to include the Friday night event with the Dirt Car Sportsman, well, the ROC Sportsman, I should say, 360s, mini stocks, and street stocks. Saturday, it's the flat track bikes, round 6 of their national tour. Sunday is the Canadian National Northern Micro Sprint Nationals. And then Monday and Tuesday, it's the Fresh Stone Dirt Classic, along with the Pinty's 100 for the NASCAR Pinty Series, the Sit and Bowl Sprint Car Shootout, $5,000 to win each night for 360s, and inflated purses for the Action Sprinter those nights as well. But Adam, how kick-ass is that? $125 includes your pit access for all 5 nights.
I think that's amazing. It's you're getting the fans up close and personal. If you're a fan, you can save towards that, and it's going to be a blast. How can you not have a good time with that deal on the table?
Yeah, that deal's only going to be available till the end of July, so make sure you pick it up. Coming August 1st, you're going to have to pay a la carte prices for those nights. But yeah, $125, and like you said, Adam, we have pre-race concerts prior to the races. You can get up close. You can be near the driver's meeting. There's so much other stuff going on that'll get you really a good, as I like to say, immersion in the event by coming out. So if you're camping there, that's a no-brainer. Everything goes on sale on our website and Show Pass, which will kick off this Saturday, including camping for $50, along with Northern Sprint Car National tickets are available also for September. So those wondering when Oshweekend tickets go on sale, that's when we've got them. So, Spencer, let me know if Aaron hooks up. I see he's read the messages, and hopefully he's working on getting that done for us. All right. In the meantime, how about our Burger Barn video of the week, since it's sprint car related? If you can roll that while you work on getting Aaron bolted into the chair.
If we want to hang on to that, Clinton, I've got a story I can tell about this morning. We'll leave that up to Spencer right now.
No, go for the story.
So I had some time to tour around this morning and thought, why don't I drive out to the Speedway? I went out to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I'd never seen it before. I really wanted to see the bull ring, get an idea of what it looked like. I've raced it on iRacing. But there's a big drag race going on out here this week. And this will come up in Derek Lynch's list. But as you drive by the drag strip, there's a couple of dragsters unloaded. And man, they look cool. And then it dawned on me, there was a time when these dragsters would have been towed on open trailers. So you would have seen all these cars pulling through town. Clinton, it is a sea of white toter homes and white boxes. Like, it is so nondescript. It doesn't look any different than like the Amazon Prime distribution center. In fact,
Yeah.
The Prime distribution center looks better because all of their trailers are lettered up. We're becoming a secret society of sorts, and we've got to be really careful, because if all of those things were out in the open, and I understand why in a lot of cases they can't be, but not in every case. Someone needs to show up and pull that thing in on an open trailer and wow the people who might not know what's going on.
You're so right. Now, if you're an open trailer guy, you're considered an underdog coming in and trying to whip them. I mean, look at Tim McCready. Had one of those boxes. He didn't have a stacker, so it was a miracle that he beat them all at the big race a few years ago. Aaron Turkey has joined us here. Let's get Aaron to join us now. Aaron, welcome to the program, bud. Thanks for the short notice. Getting on there. How's it going? Oh, we got him muted there still. Spencer's going to have to fix you up. Hang on tight. Let us know, Spencer, if we got to go back to him.
Great smiling face, though. Aaron Turkey always seems to be in a good mood. And I can't wait to ask him, Clinton, about some of the fresh blood moving up. So Aaron Turkey is one who went through the crate sprint car ranks. And now he's up into the big leagues. And I mean, I think he's just a couple of small, I think it's confidence, just a couple of small changes to his confidence level before he's going to be a perennial race winner, just like the Turner brothers, just like, Mitch Brown, Jacob Brown. You see these people visit victory lane. They have to work for it, but it's not a surprise. And I think that's what we're going to see from Aaron Turkey. He's going to be another one of those that we say, on a given night, he's going to be up there battling and visiting victory lane quite a bit. Yeah,
I think the other thing that, is maybe lost on a lot of folks around here is what a big win his quick hot lap challenge win was on the Monday. The first NASCAR, event in Canada on Indigenous ground, to have Aaron go out and win that race. That is every bit of a diversity of the series, and everybody's trying to put together. So that was a big feather in the cap to have Aaron go out and be able to make that happen. And he looks good pretty much everywhere he goes. What I like about Aaron, he's an exciting driver to watch because he's on it. There's not much finesse in Aaron, and I think he'll be happy to tell you that too. He's a lot like Mac DeMann. He's on it the whole way.
He's also a lot like Glenn Stiers, right? Who's kind of his mentor, taking him under his wing to show him the ropes. Glenn Stiers, early in his career, that was his MO. Go out there and stand on the throttle, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, but eventually it led to a lot of feature victories.
All right, so Aaron's working on his sound. Let's run that Burger Barn video of the week, Spencer. This is why, even if you're pushing cars off, especially this time of year, we see so many guys, just roll it, Spencer, when it's ready. So many guys jumping in these sprint cars at him to push them off. Exactly this. No helmet, no fire suit, not strapped in, no gloves. And this is the most dangerous time because, you've probably just put the motor in. Are all the fuel lines tight? Are all the oil lines tight? There's so many things that can go wrong. Not to mention what happens here where, the car loses control. And I'm still not sure what happens, but looking down, he's checking the gauges, not really even paying attention, reaches in and turns the fuel on. The car takes off, and it's kind of stuck throttle. He's on for a ride.
Oh, that'll give you a headache. Who was that, Clint?
That was a fan video. Kyle Tomaski sent that. Here's your Burger Barn video of the week.
That seat's not even bolted in, Clint. Spencer, can you roll that back about 15 seconds? Look at that seat.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so many things wrong with this video. Not to mention that view for too long. But you, yeah, especially this time of year, and I see it on Facebook day after day after day. You know, the sprint car guys out there firing up their motors and wheeling it back to the shop. But man, if you don't have your gear on, you're asking for props. I mean, this happened to Glenn Stires in our pit area a few years back too. His throttle stuck. He hit the blocks. Thankfully, nobody got clipped, and that's why it's so important to pay attention when you're in the pit area because, man, shit could happen a lot worse than you
Well,
think.
you made the best point, Clinton, because that is the time. Climbing into your car to run the feature event, car's probably going to be fine. It's been shaken down a couple of times already that night through hot laps, through heating the motors, through heat racing. So the first time you go to climb in it in the winter or in the spring after working on it all winter, just like you said, every piece of that car has been taken apart and put back together. If someone innocently just forgets to tighten something up, puts the throttle linkage in a way that it's binding up, so when you give it some throttle, it hangs up, and that's what happens. So scary stuff.
Take two on Aaron Turkey. Hey Ron,
Hey,
what's
we hear
up?
you this time.
I can hear you guys. Yes.
Aaron, thanks for joining us. This is how it works. You happened to send me a message just before we came on the air, and I said, "Hey, perfect timing with everything going on." Adam, on another note, Adam Turner messaged me about same time Aaron did. I said, "Next week, bud, you're on." So we'll get Adam Turner on for Bright. But Aaron, you got out there, got to test the new GSR chassis on the weekend. I saw your post, said you were happy with how everything went. You set some good times. Both you and Mike Bowman look good in the cars. How's it feel, and how are you feeling?
I'm feeling really confident. The car felt really, stable, and we had a really good setup, and I felt really fast and comfortable right off the hop. So, coming up to Maryville this next week, I think we should be in good shape.
Aaron, how important is confidence when it comes to winning sprint car races?
It's everything. There's a few times when you got to tell yourself to get up there or get the places and also pull moves at the right time. So I think you got to have a really good confidence level getting in these cars.
Aaron, how would you say you've grown as a driver in the past 4 or 5 years? What's the biggest thing you've improved on yourself?
Just keeping a good, clear mind, in these cars, getting strapped in, especially sometimes you're sitting on the warm-up track for at least 20 minutes. A lot of things go through your mind. So I think just going in there with a clear mind and having a good mindset throughout the whole night, no matter whether you're starting at the back of the pack or mid-pack or starting right on the front row, I think just having a good mindset throughout the whole race and, just wanting to win. I think that's how I felt like I've grown over the years. And also just keeping, you got to keep this fun, at the end of the night when you're packing up your car and you're out there with your buddies that also, it's a lot of time and, effort to put into these cars. So no matter if you win or lose, I think if you go home with a good mind, that's how I felt like I grown.
Aaron, does it enter your mind that there's going to be a lot of new 360 racers this season? Obviously, you've been there. You came from the crate division up to the 360s. So there's going to be a few new faces out there. Do you approach them differently when you're out on the racetrack, or is it just you look after yourself and that's it?
I try not to worry about them too much. I know that them coming from the crates like I did, they know how to race and you know how to leave a lane open and all the things that when you're racing out there were some open wheel cars. I know that they have those skills, and I'm just really glad to see it keeps growing. I know this was a big worry when the crates first started, that they were going to take over the pretty much the scene, and there wasn't going to be much 360 racing. So to see this, movement of drivers keep moving up and the field getting bigger, I think it's working out the way that Glenn intended it.
Aaron, let's talk about being a father now. That's something that's changed for you in the last 5 years as well. How has that changed you personally? I know for me, it definitely calmed me down a bit. What's it done for you?
It's done the exact same. It made me, at the same time, thinking about my next move into each corner, it also makes me proud knowing that my boys are in the stands watching me do something I love. And also with the TV show and everything going on, I'm really glad they're a part of all of it. And, I'm very lucky to have two good, healthy boys that love racing just as much as I do.
You've had quite a bit of time to think about it now, Aaron, and we talked to you last summer, but how big a deal was it for you to set fast time in the NASCAR Pinty Series car the night before the Pinty Series race? Do you realize how many more people know your name now than they did before that night?
Yeah, it's took a while. As I was doing it and racing the sprint car at the same time, it took a few weeks for it to really set in that it happened. Same deal. It happened really quick, like the deal with Larry Jackson and stuff. It was only about 3 weeks before we actually put a deal together to do it, and there was so much going on at the time, and the set fast time, it was pretty phenomenal. Knowing, because when we went there and tested the week before, I was spinning out and I didn't feel too good in the car. But Larry and Howie there, they set me up really good, and I'm just really proud to actually get it done.
Aaron, what do you know about this year's plans? Have you confirmed that up yet?
We're working on a deal right now. I know it's going to be since there's 2 full nights, we're working on how things are going to play out, but it's looking pretty good so far. So I'm pretty confident we'll be back there in August.
Awesome. Well, I know you're going to have a big cheering section, Aaron, and you handled yourself so well, right? Like everything, you climbing out of the car, the words that you had for the fans, everything just looked so awesome. And I know it represented Six Nations in a positive light, though, because there were so many people that had never been there or never paid attention to racing at Ushweek, and boy, oh boy, did they get a huge introduction to the local scenery thanks to you.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was awesome to be a part of it, and to be out there with like Kenny Schrader and all the rest of the Pinty's guys, and to be right with them door to door. And a track I grew up watching Glenn race the whole time. I've been in a stand since I was like 3.5 years old. So being out there with all these guys, and it was a dream come true. And I'm very lucky to be both in a sprint car and a Pinty's car again this year, and I'm just gonna make the most of it when I can.
Aaron, last thing I got for you before we move on to Jake Sheridan. Let's talk quickly about the APTN show, Friday Night Thunder, the documentary program. For the fans who have not seen it yet, I think this year we're going to be filming season 4, so there's a lot of it out there. Make sure you look it up on APTN if you're here in Canada watching the show. And it's just been amazing. Aaron, maybe give the fans and viewers a couple words as to why they need to look up this show.
Yeah, if you guys can definitely check out Friday Night Thunder TV. It's on APTN and APTN Lumi. It's been great past 4 seasons, with me and the Hill Bros and Glenn and Alex is sharing what we love doing, and having a really good film production follow us, and also promote racing, all the teams and all the great things that a Speedway has to offer each week. I'm really glad that they had a show like this come along. I haven't seen one quite like it, other than like way up in the F1 and all that. So the really display of what we have here right in Ontario is pretty phenomenal. Season 4 is we're filming season 4, and season 3 is coming out in the fall time. So if you guys can go check that out and follow us on that'd be great.
Right on, Aaron.
A lot of
Spencer,
people
show his new car there, and then I'll throw it over to Adam. Go ahead, Adam.
a lot of people are watching that, Aaron, and man, the car looks beautiful. Look forward to seeing it on the racetrack, and good luck. I'm sure we'll see you in Victory Lane this season.
Yeah, thanks for having me
Hopefully a
on.
few times.
Yeah. I actually tried to get on like Travis Cunningham's show and all that, but we had technical difficulties like we had here, and I'm really glad to get on. I don't know what episode this is, but thanks for finally having me on.
No problem, Aaron. We'll talk to you soon, buddy. Thanks for
All
coming.
right, thanks.
Don't forget, everybody, Aaron will be competing with the Southern Ontario Sprints as they kick off the Spring Sizzler this Saturday night at Merrittville Speedway, which we are planning on capturing on GeForce TV Lite, which means it'll air shortly after the event happens. So make sure you check that out. Cool to have him on. Jake the Snake is standing by. Now, before we bring Jake on, Adam, I know how much you love this. If there's one Adam Ross lesson of journalism I learned 20 years ago, and you really like to stick by us, we need both sides of the story. So last week, Jared Fitzpatrick said it pained him to say Jake was the up-and-coming star of the future. But let's get Jake on and hear his side of the story and figure out where the love has got lost there between the 84 and the 52. Jake, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks, boys. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Right on, Jake.
So, Jake, I don't know if you had a chance to watch JR's interview last week. He had great things to say about you, but at the same time was very open about the fact that not even that there's tension. There's just no communication between you guys. You don't make it a point to go and see each other at the racetrack. But he did have some positive things to say about your driving. Did you take that in?
Oh man, that's cool to hear. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see it, but I appreciate there being enough mutual respect for him to say that on there and everything. That's pretty cool to hear. I like to hear that, and there's no doubt that that's a guy you got to respect racing against every week, no matter how you feel about him, whatever. He's done a lot of cool things in his life and a lot of racing. So that's pretty cool to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. No, there hasn't been a lot of communication, but I mean, he's not my friend. I raced against him. I didn't bring him. I didn't grow up with him in high school or nothing like that. Like I don't think I'm supposed to be talking to race car drivers every weekend, but definitely maybe a little bit less than some other race car drivers. But that's just because I don't want to start anything. I find a lot of times you get someone that's good, somebody that's competitive, and you're going to race against week after week, and hopefully I'll get a chance to race against for a championship with the APC series this year. Any time in the past I've gotten friendly with somebody that you're that competitive with, you usually end up taking somebody out the next weekend, or you get into a fender bender and you blow a tire, and you always end up hitting that person. So that always makes it a little awkward. And that's probably happened to me 3 or 4 times in my life. So I've got this approach. I've always kind of been like this, but I'm just kind of being myself even a little bit more this year. As far as I'm a straight shooter. I don't like too much BS. I don't like to make anything up. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I tell people how I feel. But this year it's just going in with that aspect of trying to stay in my own trailer. We got this beautiful new trailer that we're rocking with at SSR Motorsports this year to the racetrack, and I can't wait to sit inside of that thing and be on myself and not cause any drama and have some nice air conditioning while I'm in there.
Right on. Jake, let's talk about your upcoming program. There's so much still going on with the APC series. It continues to grow and blossom, but you also have Friday nights to continue on. Is there one you're focusing on more than the other? Is it the same car? How are you going to manage the season?
That's a great question, man. I'll be honest with you. I love racing. I love driving race cars, and I like working on race cars. We've done. We're doing better than we have in past years. We're on our second all-nighter of the year so far, getting ready to go racing. And I'll be honest with you, I love every single second of it. I love the grind. I love staying up till 3 a.m. and going to work at 5 o'clock. I love it. I hate that I like it because I feel pretty dead at about 7 o'clock in the morning, but I love it. And it don't change in the summertime. There's nothing I'd rather be doing than getting ready to go to a racetrack and thrashing and throwing gears in different cars after a Friday night Delaware, going on an APC race somewhere and driving through the night. There's a rush that there's nothing really like it. Like you talk about it seems like in the off season, the winter after, all these memories you made that when you thought you were just dragging your ass going to the racetrack, you made all these awesome memories with guys that we've been with for years and years. So, to get a little more direct to your question, how we're going to manage it. We got 2 cars this year, which is, I think, a huge step. We got this pretty cool APC series, got this pretty cool banquet they put on every year. They do this motor giveaway, and we were lucky enough to win a crate motor in a draw at the banquet last year. And that really helped a lot with getting ready for this program this year. So we got a brand new McCall chassis all ready to rock here. Just was actually finished up on her tonight. We're going in for a setup, initial setup here this week, and super pumped about that. That'll be our APC baby, and we got our a really solid car from last year that we're gonna hopefully run again at some Delaware and have it as kind of a B car, Q2 backup car. So regardless, that's gonna help a lot. But it's been a tough year for us as far as some money stuff goes. As far as some sponsors, I feel like a lot of people got they're a little nervous this year about sponsorship and that kind of things. A lot of people are pulling some money out. We've unfortunately lost one or two, and not lost for good, but either downsized a little bit for a year or pulled out for a year, or some people were sponsoring aren't even sponsoring hockey jerseys this year. So some people are backing out. We also had 2 new people come on, which is awesome. I'm super excited to see great floors and everything on there this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. So honestly, APCs are our priority. We're going to run all 10 APC races, and I would love to run all the Delawares. I'd love to run all Delaware, Sawmill, Sunset, everything if I could, but we'll definitely do the invitationals at Delaware. We'll definitely run opening night, and I think from there we'll just go until we run out of money, pretty much.
You know, one of the things about watching you race is you run every lap. It looks from the outside as though you run every lap at 100%, which is something that J.R. Fitzpatrick did from the time he was 18 years old. I don't know when it stopped, but there did come a point when J.R. kind of took it down a notch and chose his battles a bit more. Do you see that happening with yourself, or are you going to stick with the 100% every lap and come what may?
No, I'm going to say something here that, like I said, I don't really know J.R. Fitzpatrick that good, but I've been told that have very similar personalities. And he's told me that he reminds me a lot of himself when he was younger, and he did some things that maybe he regrets or whatever. And that's normal in life. But which I'm confused sometimes by hearing that. I'm confused by what that means. But I think one thing he can connect to me on is we think we are taking it easy at times, and it looks like we're going 100% all the time. But no, I don't know. Like, sounds dumb, but we're not that old, but we're getting older. And sometimes I said something last year to an individual at the racetrack. They said, it looks like you're just giving her all the time. Like, you're wide open, you're wheeling that thing. And I said, you ever thought maybe the car's just not that good and we're giving it all we can all the time anyways? Like, usually if you got a really good race car, it doesn't look like you're trying that hard. You're just cruising. Like our first race at Delaware, we had a bad fast race car, and I don't think I corrected that thing once all race long until I got left reared. So other than that, yeah, I think I'm hoping you can see a side where we're working hard to have some really good equipment this year, and we've got a couple of years of notes taken down. I'm hoping you're going to see that pay dividends, as far as you're going to be able to see us have a solid enough piece where we don't have to drive the wheels off at every lap, and we don't have to fight for that track position. We don't have to stay on the lead lap at Sawmill or something like that, like last year. So I'm really looking forward to that point. Like, I think that's my favorite part about racing. I love, like I said, I love everything about racing. I love the different mind frames you have, as far as when you go in qualifying, you got 5 laps in APC, which is really only 2 laps on your 2 money laps on your tires. There's nothing I love more than like grazing the wall, come off turn 2, both laps wide open, and wheeling her for everything you got. There's nothing I love more than that. But I really enjoy the 100+ lap races of making her to the end and elbows up with 20 to go when they're not handling very good and the brakes are hot and you're doing everything you can, and elbows up and a little respectful smoke flying and beating and banging. I think is awesome. Some respectful bump and runs going back and forth. We've seen that in the past, and I think that's unreal. So hopefully we're in a better position to be there for the end, and I would really, really like to display what I believe the ability I have to save my car to the end and be in the right position when I have to be.
Jake, with that being said, does that mean you're looking forward to the extended distance races beyond 100 laps this year?
I'm super pumped about it. I'm nervous to see how they're going to regulate it for pit stops and for tires and stuff like that. I really wish that was something that was a little bit more concrete coming into the 2022 like off season, like 2023 build season. I really wish that was something that was a definite plan. You know, if you're putting tires on or not, you know what motor you want to run, you know if you need the horsepower, you know if you're running lightweight. Like, that would be something like that's awesome. But like, that's kind of something that like NASCAR would do, is not tell you anything until the day before the race and not let you plan. So I guess that's what we do in racing. But I'm really, really excited to see how it works out. I'm hoping they keep the tires to a minimum and keep it in the driver's hands a little bit. I'm really looking forward to it.
I agree with you there. I think let the tires burn down and see what you've got at the end. It's the same for everybody.
I'm going to interrupt super quick. I'm not much. I apologize again. Like I said, I didn't see that video last week. Unfortunately, you guys with JR and stuff. And I wish now hearing that, I wish I was here to see it. But I'm really, really, really not much of a social media guy. Like I can't stand it. I get so into the drama that I'm cursing with Nick, like looking at what people are saying on there. I just get freaking wound. Not like it's like not seriously, but also I read it as in people are being serious. So when I see the comments on there about people that are like, I don't even know if I'd call them fans. They're not even full-time fans. They've never driven a race car, not worked on a race team. And they're talking about how long tires will last at Sunset Speedway. And you can't do 150 laps on tires. That's interesting to me to see people be that bold about knowing what's going on. Like, yeah, they're going to be slow. We might be 2 seconds slower at the end of the race, but there's not cords showing typically after 100 laps. Like there's still rubber left. So, and if there is cords showing, that's part of the race. That's exactly what that is. The drivers know that. They should know that. So that's part of the race. So I think it'd be really interesting to see how it goes out. There's a lot of really great minds in the ABC series. We know that the series has grown unbelievable, and I think it's absolutely awesome to be a part of it. So I'm really, really excited to see what some of those great people and great characters have in mind for the season coming up.
If I can throw in a little bit of my old man wisdom, Jake, I do what I do, and I enjoy it. I hear from far more people who don't like the work that I do than people who do like the work that I do. But I think I do all right. And you're you know what I mean? You can look at the negative if you want to, because negative is a lot easier to find and it's more common to find. Part of the reason I see the negative more is because Clinton likes to share it with me. But keep doing what you're doing. As long as they're talking about you, that's all that matters.
That's right. It doesn't matter what they're saying as long as they're making noise. That's what I like to say.
Jake, I got a question for you. Mike Russell says, what do you think of the new choose rule?
Oh, man. You want me to be like really honest, or you want me to be political here? I guess this is a safe environment.
It's free speech.
I don't like it. I don't see the need for every short track division. I gotta watch what I say here, because I love everybody that makes these decisions, especially in the APC series. But I don't get what the draw is to everybody copying NASCAR. I don't understand. I don't know why we all have to be like them. I don't like NASCAR, so I don't know why I don't know why we have to follow in every footsteps. I think it is going to be super exciting. Like I think from a fan's point of view, which is what we have to consider, it's going to be wild. Like I've ran the choose rule in legend cars before, and I'll tell you right now, you can cheat jumping some rows up like a mofo. Like it is awesome. It is wild, fun, and exciting. And if you think it's rough driving under green, you just wait till these guys try and race you to the cone to pick the outside or the inside. It is rough. It's wild. And I think they're really going to need to do a good job of monitoring and having a rule. Like they need to have it very sanctioned. And what I'm worried about it is they seem to have a little bit of a hard time regulating their restarts now, as far as they don't have a real definite and a defined way of showing when we're jumping restarts, when we're going. We don't even have a designated box that's so far from the start finish line every track we go to, which I think would be a basic step to making this repetitive and consistent. So I think I'm hoping that I'm really hope it all just works out well. The first couple races it will. Everybody's patient and everybody's, everyone's respectful, and then we're going to get to race 7 when people are tied for the championship, and it's going to be wild to watch.
I want to rebut this a bit, Adam, because as a promoter, we're bringing in an Osh weekend for the sprint cars that your brother Nick races as well. I accept that, not everybody has to follow what NASCAR does. But man, if it's a cool idea, I don't care who brings it to the table. If it's going to bring more excitement as a promoter, and I mean for us as announcers, oh my goodness, you just gave us another half an hour worth of stuff to discuss under yellow. So this is going to be awesome for us and the fans. I can understand how for you guys it may not be so good. Jake, one last question. I'll let you go. What track do you feel you've got to brush up on this year to be ready and better to contend for the championship?
I'm going to keep that right in my brain. I want to add one more thing about my last statement there.
Go ahead.
This is my real quick opinion. I don't pretend to know anything about racing. I'm not a veteran. I don't know anything about nothing. I've never raced Xfinity cars at Dover or put Cup cars in the Daytona 500 like some of our Canadian heroes have. But I love watching racing, and I loved like running some of those smaller divisions, like those legend cars. I had a lot of fun with when you're doing the Trues rule, and that's why I don't like to speak my mind too much, because people sometimes look at you like you think you're somebody. I just love to be a part of it. I just love the fact that we've experienced some of it. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to being a part of this new restart deal. Fast forwarding. What track I feel I need to be better at? Sunset Speedway, I think, is definitely a top of the list there for us as far as information goes and setup goes and driver response goes. We had a terrible 2 showings at Sauble Speedway last year, but I don't consider that to be an issue. I don't. That wasn't a driver thing or a crew thing, in my opinion. That was just, unfortunately, we just didn't have the right setups, like the right core setup to run that track. It's a flat, slow track. And the reality of the situation is, the way our geometry and roll centers were last year, the faster the tracks and the more bank tracks we had, the better we were. We were good at Peterborough. We were good at Delaware. Done. That was it. So that it's interesting to see how that kind of works out. So I'm really, really excited for this year. I think Sunset Speedway is going to be, we're going to run the opening night at Sunset and kind of as a test session. So I'm really, really excited to see how that goes down. Double features, lots of opportunity, lots of time to give feedback and work on the race car and make it better. So that's a place we made a lot of gains at last year from a setup point of view. So I'm really, really excited to kind of take a mixture of both cars, both styles, and hopefully combine that into something that's better than everybody else. You don't have to be fast; you just have to be better than everybody else, right? So hopefully that's how it works out.
That's my plan. If Adam and I encounter a bear in the woods, I don't have to outrun the bear. I just got to outrun Adam. We'll be all right.
There you go.
It's a solid plan. Jake, you never have to explain where you're coming from. I mean, people will enjoy your interviews all the time because you speak from the heart. You're not covering anything up, and that's going to keep you very, very popular, and more so as time goes on. So, no, you sound respectful about the sport. You've earned your opinion. So never be shy about sharing them, and we're happy you come on and talk to us and give us a great interview.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm just happy to be here. It's fun. I get a little excited every time I hear about it. Every time Clinton texts me, we're out there. Nikki and I we just got Nikki's motor back today, actually, and my Delaware motor back today. So we're just we're kind of thrashing right now. We got 2 cars. We're both finishing up 2 cars here. So we were just doing that, and I kind of come up from underneath the car, cursing and swearing. So I was grinding out some holes that weren't fitting, and I heard the little notification go off, and it was Clinton. So I was pretty pumped up. We came and had something to eat, and we shot the shit we hung out for 10 minutes, and then we were on here now. So it's pretty awesome. I love being a part of it, and I don't like talking too much, but I enjoy it on here. It's fun because there's nobody that can judge you right away on here. I gotta wait a day to see all the comments that they post on Facebook. So I know I'm good for at least a couple hours.
Right on, Jake. Thanks for being with us, man. You're really coming a long way with your speech here. Every time we stick these microphones in it, and I'll second what Adam said. You know, your dad's a straight shooter legend. You and your brothers are the real deal. You absolutely have the right to speak on all this. We appreciate, and I know the powers that be are going to take your opinions as well. Thanks, Jake, for taking time. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Appreciate it. Can't wait to see you at the racetrack.
Catch Jake Sheridan live in our kickoff to the season Saturday, May 20th, the APC Series live from Sunset Speedway right here on G-Force TV. Free streamed all summer long as usual.
This is going to be a Don Cherry moment, Clint. Racers, watch what Jake Sheridan just did there. Shoot from the hip, speak from the heart. You could even see him reasoning with himself at certain times, Clinton, and still deciding to say what he wanted to say and what was on his mind. That is going to get you more interviews. When you speak like that, someone like Clinton Geoffrey, who is roaming around looking for people to talk to, they are going to gravitate to you because that is quality.
Yeah, I think, characters like Jake and, J.R. Fitzpatrick are the future of the sport. They're the ones that are going to sell the tickets. And, I think when I look back at Jake and Aaron, those are 2 guys that came a long way with their public speaking in the past few seasons and are really shining the best light on them and their teams as they can now. Let's pull up our other buddy. Cam Harris is joining us now to talk about the NASCAR Pinty Series, which kicks off a week before the APC late models do. Cam hosts our weekly Power Hour here on G-Force TV, the Pinty's Power Hour. Cam, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good stuff.
Good.
Cam, we brought you on to talk about the Pinty Series. You're the one out there pounding the pavement and blowing the trumpets to why everybody should be part of this great series we've got here in Canada. Canada's national tour. You know, what's the hot story in the past week or so, and what do fans maybe not know that they need to be prepared for coming up for the May 13th opener at Sunset Speedway?
Well, I think people need to just be expecting that there's going to be some news still coming. Obviously, it's been a little bit quiet, but it always is. And then when stuff comes in, it comes in quite a bit. And May 13th we're under a month away, and you can go and get your tickets already for some of the races this year. That's one of the things that people can be really excited about, is that, hey, you don't have to wait right until the race starts to be able to go out and get your tickets. And what's exciting is, I think, the news that broke last week, which was the team coming from Newfoundland. That was something that was, I think, maybe unexpected a little bit. We knew that there'd be some interest in going out to Newfoundland, but to have a two-car team come into the series, Brandon McFarlane and Josh Collins. Josh is a veteran of sorts in the series. He has run for many years. He's been in the series, and he had attempted a full-time season a couple years ago, and it didn't materialize. And now he's going to have his own team with Brandon McFarlane. They're going to do some select races this year. And just speaking with Brandon, the excitement that he has right now is unmatched. It is very evident how much the Atlantic love of racing is coursing through his veins right now. And especially not knowing where he was going to be last year, coming in, doing a Pinty's race, and now seeing the excitement. We did this off-season challenge for the best looking car, and it became a battle between Atlantic Canada and Western Canada. It was Brandon McFarlane against Matt Shirley, and it was an amazing story. They battled 3 times, back and forth, and it was something that I'm like, well, I didn't really know how big Atlantic Canada really loves their racing, and it was very evident. And I think the hope is that with this race out in Newfoundland again this year, that maybe there's a hope of a return potentially to another Atlantic province, another Atlantic track. Riverside is the one that I hear all the time in the group. That is the one that people really want us to go back to, but it's not the only one that's out in Atlantic Canada. So maybe there is an option to see that in the future, but that's what fans are really looking forward to right now, is getting going, because it's felt like forever since we've seen a NASCAR Pinty Series race.
It is a long off season. Cam,
Brutal.
give me your top 3 in the point standings this season.
You know, it's funny that Clinton reached out, because actually we were just wrapping up our NASCAR Pinty Series preview show on stickers and scuffs. Literally just finished taping that before we came on. And I thought about it, and I think that I kind of feel like I do this with Denny Hamlin every year, and I jinx him, but I feel like Kevin Lacroix is finally sick of finishing second in the championship. I think Napa Power goes a long way here. Those Napa colors bring a lot of attention, but also a lot of speed. So I'm going to think that Kevin Lacroix, if he can stay out of other people's messes, which is what happened last year, is he kind of had some squabbles with some people. And I think if Gary Kluge is close to him in the final turn of a race, he still might move him. I still think that that's possible for sure. Kevin's a great guy, and I think he's a lot different. More different. I think you guys would know. He's very different when he's on the track than if you meet him in person. Very funny, very kind of quiet, but on the track, he is insane, right? So I think he's the guy that's going to be tough to beat this year. But going against Marc-Antoine Cameron this year, the domination that they had last year for a brand new team was unbelievable. 800 laps led last year. The second place guy, Brandon Watson, only 300. So there's a huge difference between how much they schooled the field last year. And I'm going to stick Brandon Watson in that conversation as well, because I think he had some tough luck, but we saw at Delaware, he knows how to win. He knows how to lead, and he's done very well in every series that he's been a part of. I think it took 1 year of him being a rookie, and he's going to be very, very competitive once again this year. So I'm going to go between those three, with Kevin Lacroix taking it home over Cameron, and third place being Brandon Watson.
I can't really disagree with that too much, Adam. My question is, can Cameron have the same kind of dominance he had last year and keep the magic going? I mean, we said that in lots of sports where some guys just can't quite duplicate what they have. If you see Mark around, I got to run into him last week, calm, cool, collected, looks, like he's ready to go. But then you also look at like a guy like LP Dumoulin, you've got Ranger still out there, you got DJ Kennington. I mean, I think we have the strongest field because we have the addition now of a Cam Rand who is in the championship talk, a Watson who's in the championship talk, a Lapsevich who wants to get their deal sorted out is going to be in that talk. I mean, Adam, you've been the voice of this series for the past 15 or so years of that. Can you remember a year when we've had so many real deal contenders to be a champions?
No. There's a lot of them out there, and then I think DJ Kennington's going to be a real player this season in the battle for the championship. But I think you might see, just like Cam said, you might see two drivers in the top three that have never won a title before.
Yep.
There's, you look at your Trayton Lapsevich, Kevin Lacroix.
The
there's so many. Yeah, Watson.
Tagliani.
Watson is going to be so good. Tagliani, absolutely. Yep. Marc-Antoine Cameron is not going to repeat the success he had last year. He's going to be very, very good. He's not going to lead 800 laps this year.
I don't see it either. I think the field woke up. And they were not very happy about it, for sure. When he came at Sunset Speedway and he dominated right off the bat, they were not happy about that. And why would you be? You don't want to be coming in and have a brand new team school you right off the bat. Now, all of a sudden, you've also got some other names that are coming in. Thomas Naveau. Not a lot of people know who this guy is. He's coming from the road to Indy. Very, 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 very good, because look at the names in this series right now that have come from that division and all of a sudden come in here and destroy everybody, talking Kevin Lacroix, Andrew Ranger, Alex Tagliani. Now you're adding another guy who's still in his prime coming in and doing that. Dangerous. He's got some good sponsorship too, and he's with Dave Jacobs Racing in a Mustang. Thank you. We're going to have two Mustangs out there this year. That's really exciting. But I think what you mentioned earlier, Andrew Ranger, LP Dumoulin, if you think those guys are going to be okay with how they performed last year, absolutely wrong. They are going to go out full blast, because LP Dumoulin not winning a race last year, he's going to be fired up to get going in that WeatherTech 47.
Right on, Cam. We appreciate you being with us. Catch Cam's Power Hour for the Pinty Series live every Monday at 7 o'clock here on G-Force TV. Cam, get pumped up, buddy. It's coming soon.
Oh, we're already there, man. We're already there. We're counting down the days.
Thanks, Cam. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
See you at the races.
Man, I love the energy. It just gets me pumped up.
Yes. The nice thing about Cam is we didn't warn him what we were going to be asking. So to jump out and say, hey, pick your top three, not even a hesitation. He tells you who, he tells you why, because he knows everything about this, the teams inside and out.
We got 3 quick videos to get through. First, roll the Pinty Series promo to try and sell some tickets for our Toddish folks up at Sunset. Spencer, let's see that NASCAR Pinty Series promo once more.
Drivers! Sometimes start your engine! This life can get rough. Now, but I won't be burned. I was waiting for this and now it's my turn. Sweat on my face, blood in my eyes. Been underground, now I aim for the skies. And now you can last longer. Oh my goodness!
Gang up there on top of each other.
What a show!
I love his videos to get ready for this.
Yep.
Every Sunday, even if you're not into the Cup Series races, you got to be impressed when these commercials come on. TSN gets us ready to go. So just in closing for that segment, log on to NASCAR.ca for all your links to schedules, tickets, and everything else you might need to find out how you could be in attendance live and in person May 13th. That's a Saturday at Sunset Speedway in Innisfil, just up the 400 from Toronto, if you're not in the know. Adam, we got 2 videos to go. Let's quickly let's see the hover race, because this was kind of neat. I think you might have sent this in, Spencer. I thought this was, or Adam, I thought this was cool. Show it, Spence. I want to call it a hovercraft race.
I want to race in one.
Yeah, this is awesome. Down through the moat.
Wow.
Can you imagine a bunch of our buddies on those things like rental go-karts? Oh my goodness.
Who insures these races?
How do you not get your head chopped off if you fall off? All right, that's cool. Let that one go. And our last video of the night is John Hunter Nemechek. Burnouts, Adam. I'm so sick of seeing these guys do the cheesy burnout, and now they're catching the trucks on fire and the cars. And even the conspiracy theorists were saying they're doing this so they won't have to tech them after. Now, the fact that he has a fire safety company on the side.
And he didn't do anything. There's nothing different about this burnout than any other burnout they would have done. Like, I don't think the car was set up to ignite. And I'll give him credit for having the wherewithal to drive away, to get away from the people. Right? Like, I think he was looking for where the fire crew might be, but first and foremost, he was getting away from where the people were, and I thought, good for him for that. To the conspiracy theorists, Clinton, I ask you two things, 2 points to make. One, what on the car can they not check just because they had a bit of a fire?
Yeah,
the car is still in one piece. Number 2, why does NASCAR care if your car burnt? You still have to pass tech whether it burns up or not.
Yeah, I guess my beef is, for one, it's cheesy as all heck. The burnout is played out, in my opinion, unless you can do something cool and new with it. But just sticking your nose against the thing and wrecking your equipment is dumb in all stages, of my opinion, anyways. Secondly, if I'm NASCAR and you're destroying and leaving your burning crap all over my track, you're damaging my asphalt, that's going to be your bill, not my problem to pay for. So, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I think we need to find better ways to celebrate than destroying equipment and, causing damage. But
I've never been a big fan of it. In fact, I thought Ryan Blaney was against it. I thought I remember hearing him say, donuts are for kids. You just like to drive to victory lane. The excitement is on the racetrack. The excitement happens before the checkered flag. Drive to victory lane, get out, say something either exciting or intelligent, and go home.
Yeah, and I'm not sure where I stand on this front stretch victory lane interview. I realize for TV it helps just get it done and over with, because sometimes guys will monkey around on their way to victory lane and you're going to not get everything you need. But I don't know, man. There's just some things that I'm not loving these days. But again, we're old school, right?
I thought you would love it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's something to be said about the crew standing around and throwing the beer on the guy and welcoming him into victory lane,
It has to be so scripted, Clinton, and that's what drives you crazy is when they hold the driver. So at least we're getting the quickest emotion out of the driver. I'm thankful that they run that interview on the front stretch over the PA, so it's interactive with the fans in attendance and informative for the fans at home. So there's a lot of really good things about it. In fact, I don't see anything wrong with it. Cut out. I don't care about victory lane. The crew is all there anyhow. They usually come running out. No, I'm for it. So bite your lip.
Right on. Yes, TJ Martin, I do remember your burnout. Right after a week after we poured the new Burger Barn pad, TJ and the boys decided to lay rubber all over Jay's brand new concrete. It was not a pleasant day at work for me. Anyways, I think Aaron and his team ended up on probation for that till the end of the year. Anyways, good joking. thanks everybody for coming out. Aaron Turkey, Jake Sheridan, Cam Harris, and it was a good show. Adam, thanks for joining us and taking some time away from your Vegas trip. We appreciate it.
No, it's all good. Our welcome reception starts in 25 minutes. The Leafs have now brought it back to within 1 goal, and I'm going to go to bed early. It's only 6 o'clock here, so got that quick reception, then probably back up to my room and go to sleep.
All right. Travel safe. Thank you, Spencer, for everything you do. We'll see you guys shortly. Season's upon us. It won't be long now.